Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're back on the Cadillac floor. As you saw last time, we actually started building the substructure. To hold the floor in place, I wanted to make this a detachable floor so the body could always be raised off the frame later on. So as you see, I got some bungs and got things lined up and spaced it off the floor to make it nice and flat. Now the big process is making the floor actually work. I need to level the floor. I need to make some brackets on the inside, if you can see here, where it doesn't rely on the frame. So I'm gonna go ahead and start designing these brackets first. That way, pressure can be laid on the frame. All right, so now I got the bracket done. This is gonna be a nice little resting place for the inside of the frame to get to the bung. Now when I get this all straightened out, it's gonna have a nice little perch. That way I have some way to weld the bung to, and I can put some load on this side because I don't want it just flopping around. So these are all done. Let's go ahead and get all the tracks lined up. And I'll get these tacked in, and then we'll pull the track out, finish welding it, and then finish welding this back in. Our purchase for the bungs to go on, so we have some more structural rigidity for the frame. Now I'm going to go ahead and I probably should weld all this up, to be honest with you, but I need to keep going. I'm still cutting material out, so I'm going to lay the floor down here. I want to find out where I'm going to trim it to get on this to get it set down. Once I get the proper break for the floor pan, then I know exactly how far up and down I have to shim this floor, because I can adjust it with spacers. See, I don't need much. I think I'm just going to do 1/2 inch, step roll it up. Honestly, I'm pretty freaking close. So I'm not going to do too much. I might have to bring the floor up just a tad. But we're getting there. I mean, this is actually really pretty dope. All right, I'm pretty excited. So that was perfect. So this now overlaps this. I have a nice seam to weld this up, and I'm like nice and flush when I'm all done. It'll be one nice panel. So that was good. So now that I got my kick down, everything is nice and tight. I don't even have anything bolted in yet, so floor is nice and level. It's now time to take this off and mate the bungs to the frame. Make that all one piece, and then when I have to take everything apart, I can go ahead and just take the Allen keys out and take it out. So I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna center my framework and start tacking all the bungs. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm excited about this now. You know, I jumped ahead. Before I weld this in, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of this. I actually, me and Shan were talking about putting 2 coolers under the floor, one for the trans and one for oil cooler. We have this awesome space here to hide stuff, so I made some cross beams, I mirror imaged it, and then I actually stole the cooler off my car, and I'm going to use this as a template when we order our new 2 derails. They fit under there perfectly. So what I'm going to do is get our bungs from Bung King, bolt these in, set in my holes, and get everything adjusted and tack these bungs in. That way I kill 2 birds with 85 stones. So let's go ahead and build this up, drop it in, adjust my rails, tack them in, and we have ourselves coolers. Later on, I'll have to do this over again. All right, it's time to go and set these bungs down to the frame. I'm gonna go ahead and line everything up, press it down, tack the bungs in, and everything's gonna come apart to finish weld. And then I gotta change a few other things for the finale. Other than that, yeah, let's get the bungs in and get this thing set. That's the hard part, and then once that's tacked in, we can keep on rocking and rolling. Let everything come out, and I can finish welding every single piece. Recap. Boop. We have done a lot. We haven't recorded much because I have been slacking on the recording, too busy in the zone, the bone zone as we call it. But as you see, I have started to make some trim panels out of the 16 gauge to fill over our custom drive shaft loops that we made. Made a little bead roll top piece. Now that we have that, I cut this custom little sliver that's angled from like 2 inches to 2 1/4. It's gonna fit in this. It's gonna give ourselves a nice home. We got most of the floor in, silicone bronzed. Most of the brackets are in. As you see, the little lip that I made before to cover this. So it's really coming together. What I'm gonna start doing now is every little panel that I make, I'm gonna make my custom little trim ring. These are gonna start holding it in. These act as a Cleco device to hold the panel. Also another hole on the opposite side for TIG welding when we start silicone bronzing this in. So my goal for today is to finish this piece up. We'll start silicone bronzing this in, get this all straightened out, and we'll start working our way forward to getting our custom console in and done. So let's get this welded up. Can you lift this up? Get out of here.
Get out of
In
here.
the bone zone, bro.
The bone zone.
Hi, woof. Howdy doody, we got the console semi in, and then we have center console. Looking pretty ripping. I'm just gonna make some filler plates. Made a cool little bracket to trim this all in, which I'll fill in the rest of it. Now it's the fun part. Now I get to make my really oblong, weird shaped console hit to the floor. So I'm really just gonna start feeding off my curves. I'm gonna zip this back. So now I have more of a line to follow, and I'm gonna make myself a border around this and then build up and into this. So I'm gonna start designing a border, take these measurements, lob this off, and then hopefully from there I'll also have enough space to start figuring out where I'm gonna tie this thing into. I don't know how this is gonna look. I usually just start from one area, then I'll just fill it in. So let's get this lobbed, and let's start trying to fill this console in. The original design for that bracket that I held the console in, what I'm gonna do is just contour this to my angles that I have. I have a 62-degree angle, but I also have a 65-degree angle. So I'm just gonna take this, measure my lines out, and just chop and cut it and make it kind of contour around. Then I'm gonna do a carbon copy of the other one, and then we're gonna bend it together to make it like a 2D structure that wraps all the way around. Now that I got my S360 camera is a little crazy. I can't tell if I'm over here, if I'm over there, if I'm over here, if I'm over here. Am I in the back? Am I in the front? Am I in the side? Where are we? Most of the tunnel's up and trimmed in. Floor's pretty much done. I got a couple more pieces to tie this into the floor. And I can pull the console back out and weld the whole thing up. And then fill in all the holes, start smoothing her out. But the floor's coming along pretty nice. Now the floor isn't truly done because now I gotta take everything apart, make all my brackets for the seats, tie them into the chassis, but we'll get to that the next episode. But for now, let's get the rest of this panel filled in to show you guys what this whole thing is really gonna look like. I have my intricate panel all set, silicone bronzed in, and I really like the way the design came out. It's like almost like an F1 pilot, you know, with different curves. And I'd never built a tunnel like this before. Everything's always been round. So I'm pretty stoked the way this comes down and the lines come down and a lot of breaks, and it's just very intricate looking, you know. It sucks you're never gonna see it, but for me, I give myself a little nod to building something cool. Now there's still a lot more work to get involved to finish this. Now I got a silicone bronze, start stitching this together, and then from there, I'm gonna take everything back out and I gotta clean everything up. Then I'll finish weld it on the table itself. So for right now, I'm gonna get suited up, start stitch this whole thing together. Then from there, I can bring it on the table, and that's where all the fancy work's gonna happen, where I can start smoothing this thing out, really making it an art piece, yeah, I guess you would say. All right, we're with the boys. We're about to unravel our little Nelson motor, so let's get this thing out and get it unpacked. Tiki taka. All right, I'm excited to see this thing. So there's a lot of companies out there that make big bad engines, a lot of race companies, but Nelson is known for making the biggest and baddest, but also the prettiest engines. So I can't wait to see one of these in person. I haven't actually seen it yet. So yeah, let's check this thing out. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious.
Cuba.
You said Cuba?
Tiki-taka.
Oh my God, Mr. Nelson, you did an incredible job here. So yeah, the next thing is we're gonna get this thing all cleaned up. We're gonna tape everything so we don't scratch it, because this thing's gonna be in and out. And then, yeah, start figuring out the placement of all the turbo piping, all the inlet piping, and get this thing rocking and rolling. Look at that! Oh my goodness. Look at the way he does his hard lines. He hard lines everything. Oh my goodness. I want one of these.